Not for the first time, the events provoked criticism with allegations of political voting and plain bad taste. And with Ireland's shock exit from the semi-finals this week, is it time the event's organisers finally faced the music? Well, Sky's Brian Daly reports.
For an event that's supposed to be a song contest, Eurovision winners have certainly become more outlandish. Take Finland's Lordi in 2006 as an example. This year, Ireland tried its own version of the unusual. It sent the puppet, Dustin the Turkey, but his composition failed to gobble up enough votes. The tactic backfired and he didn't make it past the semi-finals. This is hard to take in a country with a rich Eurovision tradition and more winners than anyone else, including this song by Johnny Logan in 1987. But is it now more difficult for Irish and UK entries to repeat this success? A look at voting patterns shows three major power blocks emerging. One centred around the Balkans, another around the former Warsaw Pact nations, and a third in Scandinavia, neighbours voting for neighbours and giving each other the nod. But for some observers, this doesn't come as a big surprise.
It does definitely political voting and people voting for their neighbouring countries and all that, but that always happened. But at the end of the day, the best songs always win. But the problem with Eurovision today is it's just a big television show. No credible songwriter or no credible performer wants to be involved in Eurovision because it doesn't help their CV. And it doesn't sell records anymore. And that's the problem. If we got a really good writer and a really good performer to go, we could win it again, of course. Same with the UK.
And the man who composed an Irish Eurovision winning song back in 1980 believes we should be taking on these power blocks at their own game.
We have enough Eastern Europe people living here in Ireland now. What we need to do is find ourselves a good Latvian or a Lithuanian who can get out there and write a song that will fit harmonically into what they do. And we might even find a new singer.
To represent Ireland.
To represent Ireland.
Eastern Europe, we love you. So it appears if you can't beat them, join them. But Ireland has tried that already, and it didn't exactly work out. Brian Daly, Sky News, Dublin.
OK, let's cross live to Belgrade now. And John Kennedy O'Connor, he's the author of the Eurovision Song Contest, An Official History. Thanks very much indeed for joining us, Mr. Kennedy O'Connor. Now, what do you think? Do you think that we should try and keep Dustin the Turkey and acts like that, pushing them towards Europe and see if that doesn't win us better chances?
Well, I thought Dustin the Turkey was absolutely magic. I'm very, very disappointed he didn't go through. I mean, he was one of the most popular acts this week, but it is a song contest and he wasn't singing a song. It was a very daft idea. It's a shame. But no, there's some very serious music here. There's some very serious musicians. That's why the Ukraine, that's why Serbia, that's why Russia are the favourites, because they've sent their absolutely top stars to represent them tonight.
Well, that's an interesting point. Is that what's going on here, that some of the newer countries to the Eurovision Song Contest who haven't got this kind of tongue-in-cheek or satirical, even cynical attitude towards competition are sending out their finest songwriters and singers, and that the Western European countries all treat it as a bit of a joke?
I'm afraid that's it. It's as simple as that. I mean, I'm not saying for a moment you should take Eurovision seriously, but if you want to win it, you have to take it with a serious attitude. Annie Lorek is the biggest singing sensation in Ukraine. Dima Bilan is the biggest thing in the whole of Eastern Europe and Russia, and that's why they're the hot favourites to win tonight. I'm afraid sending rejects from the X Factor is not the way to win.
That was a bit unkind, but OK, we take your point. What about this block voting accusation that Eastern European states will only vote for their neighbours and Scandinavian states, including Latvia and so forth, will only vote for each other because they like each other, politically they're ganging up on the rest, or just that they understand each other's music better?
It's one and three of what you just said there. They certainly understand each other's music and each other's culture, and they share similar cultures and similar music. It's not political, though. There's no way it can possibly be organised. It's just, you know, people with a phone who get to vote tonight, it's that they like each other's music, and that's as simple as that.
In your long research into the Eurovision Song Contest, running out of time, I just want to ask you this. Was Cliff Richard robbed in 1968 by General Franco?
I don't know if he was robbed by General Franco. I think he may have been robbed just in general. He was beaten by a really terrible song, but I don't think it had anything to do with General Franco's secret police.
Well, I won't ask you to give us a rendition of that Spanish song that was entered in 1968.
Thank you very much.
That would be unfair. But John Kennedy O'Connor, thanks very much indeed for joining us tonight from Belgrade, and enjoy the competition tonight.
I will. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much.
You're watching Sky News. Take a look at our website, sky.com/news. The police flex their muscles in Brussels.